It's the Sports Chasers Podcast. Coming to you live and direct with your host and your moderator, Kevin L. Warren. This is a real sports podcast for real fans.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's happening, everybody? It's another edition of the Sports Chasers Podcast. It's a bonus, I guess you would say, episode. The Gridiron Rundown, we're going to call it, the college football edition, week 2. A lot going on. Mike Mills is with us today. Mike, what's going on, my brother?
Greetings and salutations.
Gotcha. And we got the DA. DA is somewhere getting in Illinois. So,
Illinois,
what's happening, man?
South Beach.
Yeah.
You living better than us on this Monday morning.
Hey man, I just trying to live it through, fellas. Every day, every day. Better than the last one. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can't see you.
Loud and clear.
Yeah.
Trying to get my shit on to get to work. So.
Oh, okay, but you're live though. You do realize that you're live. So
yeah. No, I got my
just let you know. All right. Like I said, we won't be on long. This is we're gonna talk about college football, man. We're gonna try to incorporate some college football. In the words of D-Dub, get the iron while the iron is hot, man. A lot of things going on with college football. The I guess the biggest story of the college football weekend was TCU and Colorado. Colorado defeating TCU 45-42 on Saturday. Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffalo. Shout out to them. They was 22-point underdogs. And what do? They marched into Fort Worth and beat Texas Christian University by 3. A lot of naysayers and things were said about Colorado and Deion Sanders in the program and how he went about things. But, I always say there's always different ways to do different things. And, I'll go from there.
Yeah.
But we can't hear you, dear. What you say, sir?
I said more than one way to skin a cat, man.
Yes, absolutely. Well, since you jumped in the jump rope, go right ahead with your thoughts on the Colorado Buffaloes and Deion Sanders. And
I think the mental part of it was probably some of it. Deion can talk cats in the, he can sell sand to a beach, which is first what I try to explain to folks. Like, Deion is not a great X's and O's dude, but he is a great motivator by far. And that's what head coaches are supposed to do.
100%.
They do X's and O's, they do motivation. Part 2 of that is Deion Sanders has professional people at every position on that team. If people research it before they talk about how good or bad that team is going to be, they got pros at every spot, and he got pros every week. Damn near coming in to talk to these kids and give them extra pointers on things. So you may think that it may not mean anything for Terrell Owens to come speak to him, but it means a lot because T.O. knows shit you don't know. In 20 years of being a professional wide receiver or a professional this or a professional that. Warren Sapp is the D-line coach. Though I think both of their lines are not great. I think the offensive line is actually better than the D-line. The offensive line got some dudes on it, for real. They got some good players. And I don't know why people kept, doubting the talent of the team without actually going through to see who was actually playing on the team. But that's another story for another day. They got speed. At the skill positions, you knew they were going to be better. I think the thing is that people thought that TCU was going to be better. I think that's kind of where things get funny is that people thought that, get that, they're reloading, yada, yada, yada. What I see with this, and this is what I told my boys yesterday, was that in football there's a saying when you play, it says don't let one loss become 2. Meaning to say you lost this week, but you let that hangover have you losing, the next week. And you try to get over that loss. And I don't think TCU got over Georgia last year. And, I think as a program, coaches, everybody, I think dudes just ain't get over the fact that they had a team eating food on the sideline in the middle of a championship game. I they've got past that as a team. I don't think they're a bad team at all. I think they'll be good, whatever division they're in, wherever they're at. But the one good thing about losing early in college football is people forget about it. They forgot the shit happened, so they'll be okay. They lost early. No one cares.
Right.
No one cares. But it's good for Dion though. Kind of bad for them. Good for Dion, I guess, would be the best way to say it. He said it. I didn't doubt him. I just didn't think they was gonna win this game. And I said it, and not because I didn't think Dion was a good coach, and I just thought that TCU should have had a better squad. Not as much turnover, didn't turn over 80 kids, all the rest of that. But I was wrong. And, I'm not down with Deion Sanders. I just thought, the roster was a different thing. But, hey, TCU, TC who? I guess, don't disrespect, but TC who? So, where I'm at with it, brother.
Gotcha. Mike, what you got?
Before I go talk about Colorado, let's say shout out to TCU. Because they did play a solid game. Trey Sanders looked good back there, the running back. Their quarterback is a true freshman. So that's always a good sign. So he threw 2 bad picks. But that Travis Hunter one was crazy. Nobody saw that.
That was a good pass.
Nobody seen that one come in. Like against 85% of corners, that's a touchdown. It's just he's like that. So that's what happens when you take a shot. But Colorado looked good. I mean, their O-line was better than I thought it was going to be, but there was a couple times Shador had to get down because they was running through them boys. And then on the other side, their skill positions is better, but I feel like they line up front. Their defensive line looked okay. Like there was moments where they was getting stops, but then they let some big plays through. But that's kind of college. So I feel like maybe through the season they'll get better at that, or they'll recruit some people in the next couple of years. But I didn't think they was gonna lose by 20. I thought 20 was crazy. That was especially for a team that they was in the national game, but they lost by a bunch, and then they didn't even have their quarterback from last year. So I thought it was gonna be close, maybe a 7-point game at most. Like I didn't think it was gonna be a blowout either way. But Colorado looked good, man. Everybody looked good, and then like Travis Hunter, he dropped a bomb. Like he had a gimme touchdown. If he wouldn't have dropped that, man. It might have been a whole different game because they had their foot on their necks early.
Wide open.
I think as you hear Deion's post-game comments, he says they play well, but they have to clean up defensively. I totally agree. Defensively, they give up a lot of stuff. So, we'll see about the defensive attribute. But let's get to his son. His son played a phenomenal. Sedora. He threw for a record 510 yards and 4 TDs on Saturday, and he was just on his game. There was reports from different news media outlets, and I think Ed Werner, to be precise, he kind of doubted. A couple of people doubted, man, and that's the beauty of sports, right? That some people think you're going to win, some people think you're going to lose, and it's up to you to go out there to prove them either right or wrong. And Deion and his team and the Colorado Buffaloes were 22-point underdogs, as I stated earlier when we started, and they came on. They proved right.
They playing the Pac-12, man. They ain't playing no good defenses. So,
Mike. Yeah, Mike, and you always say that, right? You always say that. So, and they leaving the Pac-12 and going to the what? The Big 12 next year.
They don't defense neither.
They definitely don't play defense in the Big 12.
Worst defensive power in the country.
So, that's something that you have to look at, and shout out to Colorado Buffaloes for what they did last night. Like I said, this is week 2. Theoretically, this is week 2. A lot of blowouts in like last night.
The one good game.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Like I thought Florida LSU last night was gonna be good, and before you know it, Florida State said goodbye in the fourth quarter, and that was what you wrote. Yeah, what do you think about that, Mike? That game? I like FSU's their quarterback, man. I think he's Travis. This
He
is
turned it
his
up.
second. He's a sophomore, correct?
I think so.
I don't know if you can hear me, but yeah, he
He
passed
turned it
for.
up.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I don't
he
like
was
Florida State any year. I didn't like them when they won the chip. I never liked Florida State because they always like do some fluky dumb shit, and the next thing you know, they got 3 losses. They just one
Right.
of them teams, man.
I like them this year. The one thing about them this year that I see, and it's weird to see, is that they are as big, or if not bigger, than the SEC team. Their offensive line and defensive lines are both huge. Their receivers are 6'5", 6'6". Like they're a big team, and you usually don't see a team that's bigger than LSU,
Mm-hmm.
because LSU is a stalwart, uh, you know, what you call them, team, man. You know, a stalwart team from the SEC, man. It's historical,
Right.
but man, listen, it's a problem. Them dudes was a problem, and I think I didn't think Florida State's class. I knew they had a good class coming in. They actually had the last 3 classes are pretty good, so they got dudes. They got some pretty good players out there, man. So we'll see. They're going to be out in the year anyway. So it's true. At minimum, I think they said they're going to. They're going to SEC, and Clemson's trying to go to SEC. So so they're getting out of the ACC anyway. So I mean, they'll be where they're supposed to be. Then they'll know if it's real or not.
Right.
If they're recruiting at that level. But yeah, they kicked their ass last night. So.
Yeah, definitely thought another game, which was Saturday night in Charlotte, at Bank of America Stadium, North Carolina against South Carolina. That game, North Carolina wound up winning that game 31-17. And D's
That's
man,
about right.
Mr. May, did his
That
thing.
game was about right.
Yeah,
That was about right.
269 yards, 2 TDs.
How did Ratner do? How did Ratner do from South Carolina? I didn't see the game.
Beat up.
Oh, they beat him up? Yeah.
He got beat up.
Yeah,
They got South Carolina lost a lot this year though, man. And like a transfer pool like school, they got smashed. Like they lost the number 1 running back, number 1 tight end, 2 linemen, or this, or that, or that, or this. They got smashed. So these motherfuckers turned it up. Indians at their weddings, I would tape it. I wouldn't get in no trouble, man. But they are actually, hey, what are you doing? I'm good, man.
All right.
Oh, well, go have fun. Yeah, sorry. That was one of my coworkers. Yeah. Apologize. Yeah. They did it turned up over there, though. But yeah, man, it's I think we are definitely seeing the effects, adverse and positive, of the portal, NIL, coaches leaving, the whole reshuffling of America. This is real interesting, man. For real. It is extremely interesting to see. I like anarchy, so I don't really have a problem with it. So.
Gotcha.
But South Carolina, they're going to have to do something. Because if you gave up all them sacks to North Carolina, what are you going to do when you get to conference play and got to play a real defense?
They're going to get murdered. That's what's going to happen. There's nothing else you can do. Because it's either you got the bodies or you don't. Like that whole getting better over the years idea, yeah, it happens very rarely. Because coaches are trying to pick you apart. So they find your weakness and they just keep going at it. So the only way you change the weakness is you change the player. Right? So, if you got a weak player, then you change that weak player. But, it's really hard to make cats better during a season.
Well,
they can get more cohesive, but it's hard to get better because you really don't have time to get better. Like you're not, you got a game next week. I mean, you practice all week, but it's hard, man. especially at O-line.
Yeah. One other game I wanted to mention was Florida on Thursday. They went to play Utah and basically got their ass kicked 24-11. Utah's number 14 in the land, and Florida fans, Florida is not your Florida Gator team that you grew up with. Unfortunately for you Florida fans.
Not
Uh,
yet.
Go ahead, D.
So I don't think so yet, but I think they will be because they got the money. They got the most money of any school in Florida. So if they wanted to get their NIL up the way they need to, yeah, they could do it. They may be doing it. It's just not, they don't. It's maybe just in the first year of getting the class they want. They got a bunch of redshirt freshmen in there that are serious.
Right.
They're willing to lose today and get right tomorrow. But the reality is, bro, that school's probably got the most money, I guess, of any school in Florida. They're Florida State, of course, and then I think, Miami used to. So,
Well,
but
Florida
we'll
has been
see.
good in a couple years. It's been a couple
Yeah,
years.
Yeah,
Since they've been good.
well, they've been switching coaches though back and forth. Like they had like 4 coaches in the last 5 years or something. Something like that. Something stupid, but yeah.
They really ain't been good since like Urban Meyer. The last time they really been good.
Yeah.
Muschamp was okay. I remember him. He was okay, but like they ain't really had no like for what they want to be or what they trying to be. They haven't been that in a while. So the state of Florida ain't been like that in a while, which is weird because that's where most of the best players come from. So interesting.
Yep. Speaking of which, let me like I said, there was a lot of blowouts this weekend. We're just starting to get the college football thing up and going. Let me talk about a personal thing. Personal note, I actually went to Jackson State and FAMU game yesterday down here in South Florida, man. And that game was over before it started. FAMU had a 92-yard kickoff return, and that pretty much was it. As I sat in attendance, and Jackson State had nothing for FAMU until about the fourth quarter, and I thought they was mounting a little comeback, and then Jackson State actually changed quarterbacks in the second half. I got to get his name, but he looked like he was doing a little something, and but they never was able to do anything. And I actually went on their Instagram account on my way home last night, and I was like, wow, the people really mad, man. They mad at Deion. I mean, why are you mad at Deion? I mean, Deion's moved on with his life. Why? I don't understand. But that's neither here or there for that. Anybody's thoughts before we get on out of here about the Jackson State and the whole Deion Sanders thing, and can we put it to a rest?
Forget them. You saw that chain, fam, you got? You seen that chain? That was tough. I ain't gonna lie. With the little snake
I was sitting
Florida.
I was sitting on the Jackson State side because shout out to my homeboy, my main man Sebastian. He actually played for Jackson State because that's why I was there yesterday. He wears number 83. But I didn't get a chance to see it, but I saw them doing something, Mike. I couldn't really see it.
Yeah, that on Instagram last night. I said, "Oh me, oh my." I was like, "Okay, yeah, that was tough." I liked it. I was like, "All right, that chain is hard."
Yeah, bro.
But I ain't mad at Deion, man. I just thought he's gonna be there a little longer. That's the only part that disappointed me, and I've always said that. I just thought he's gonna be there a little longer. But then he took half his team with him. So what are we really mad about?
Yeah, he took half his team, and that's the transfer portal, right? That's how it works, and it's kind of like it's recruiting, and it's professional ball, as you call it, right?
Lincoln Riley took his quarterback. Deion took his team.
Deion took his team, man. So, y'all won last week. Jackson State, y'all won last week against South Carolina State. So, you're 1-1. It's still early.
Mm-hmm.
Just relax. RELAAX.
Don't nobody care how many games y'all lose down there. You can still win the chip. So
true that.
As long as you positive, you win it.
Yeah. So, like I said, that was pretty much all we wanted to talk about as far as college football. We're actually going to try. We said try. DA say can't hear. DA, we about to get off, bro. We're actually going to try to do something like this probably on Sundays. 20, 30 minutes. Talk about the there he goes. Talk about the most interesting college football games on Saturday. Give you like 20 to 30 minutes. And like I said, we're gonna call it the Gridiron Rundown and college football edition. So we'll do it with that. DA, we was just talking about FAMU and Jackson State, the game that I went to yesterday. What was your thoughts? And we was talking about how, people are, it's early, like you said. It's early. Well, we lost him again. We lost DA again. I don't know where he's at. DA was playing salsa music in the back.
He was
working
wild
somewhere.
Shout out to on random though. Shout out to Fresno State beating Purdue. And look at that back that transferred from UCF, the team I've been catered for the last 3-4 years.
You have mine.
Look at that. He went up there and beat a Big Ten defense. Let them
shout
play.
out to my alma mater for losing. Yes,
Let them play.
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. And they went up there and bust them in the mouth. Shout out to Fresno State for for doing that, man. So what was the final score of that game? I didn't check it here.
I don't remember off the top. Let me look. Or you look.
Yeah.
We both look. We reconvene.
Yeah, we both look. Yeah. But neither here nor there. That's the beauty of the transfer portal, right? I just wish they would tweak it a little bit. Where it's not all over the place. That's just my only desire and my wish, that they tweak it a little bit.
That's a fact.
But other than that, yeah. And we discussed that on Thursday. DA, can you hear us, sir?
Yes, sir. I can.
Okay, all right. Gotcha. We were just talking about Fresno State and Purdue, and Mike Mills alluded to Fresno State getting the kid from Central Florida. No, was it Central Florida or South University? UCF. Yeah, UCF. And he went to Fresno State, and they beat Purdue.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback, right?
Yep.
And I think, I think the weird thing about it is that you get a lot of good 4th, 5th year players, right? So like the guy that Notre Dame is getting is probably, I guess, one of the best quarterbacks in a long time.
Did we lose DA? Looked like somebody said good morning.
Yeah, no, I'm here. Okay. No, I was just saying that the quarterback from Notre Dame, the kid from Wake Forest, may be one of the best quarterbacks they've had in a while. I mean, he's only been there a year, but he's, from experience and touchdowns and so forth and so on, he should be really good. And that's because of the new NCAA.
Yep, transfer portal is for real, man. DA, you had dipped out in the morning. Just give us a little bit what you thought about the whole Jackson State and FAMU game yesterday, and people still mad at Dion because he took his players or whatever.
You need to stop. They were going anyway. Whether it was him or somebody else, they were going. That's just the fact of what you're dealing with. Kids that are at that level only were there because of him. So why would they not continue to follow him? You had this discussion way back about recruiting, and that guy comes to your house and sits on your couch. He talks to your son or daughter. If your kid can't do it, they will ride with that coach as far as they possibly can.
Correct.
And that's all this is. It's nothing like, kids aren't doing anything, nefarious or, like they are traitors. The reality is there is no allegiance to the school because the school actually doesn't have any allegiance to them. So,
no, 100%.
That's all this is. I don't know what you're mad about. You figure it out. That's what Leon, I believe you put a culture in place there where they could get players. They may not be able to get the players as good as Dion got, but Dion got players that were recruited by Alabama, Florida State, and so forth and so on to go to Jackson State. That doesn't happen. So that means you may get good players to go to Jackson State that, maybe we're going to go to Grambling or another, school at that same level, but you'll get the best players at that level. And what the coaches at Jackson State have to do is stop crying and coach. That's all. Stop and feed the school. Stop crying and coach.
They're 1-1. So they're playing the SWAC, and they'll be all right. So
either they will or they won't, but that's the same for every college, So, I don't know. I guess it's just it seems that with Deion they have a somewhat they can blame, a face, that they can blame it on. But, no one blames Lane Kiffin when he leaves, or so it is what it is. That's just kind of an us thing that I don't really deal with.
Got you. Well, anyway, we're gonna get on out of here. Like I said, we're gonna try to do this college football thing more likely on a Sunday morning where we just talk just between 15 and 30 minutes on the best games, and then we'll revisit probably on Thursday. What's coming up and on that game, man. But
I think
we're gonna get on.
the next week,
Go ahead.
Alabama, Texas. If it's not next week, it's the week after. That should be a good one. And as I was telling your brother real quick, was it next week or the week after? But Mike, you're probably right. But I'm just. But I do believe that with the way these new teams and conferences will be aligned, that those first week of games that we saw last week will probably be a thing of the past, because you're going to have to play everybody in your conference, and there are going to be more teams in your conference just to get that RPI to get into the playoffs. So you're not going to have a whole bunch of Ohio State, Norfolk State games. You know what I mean? They're going to get rid of those Ohio State to get to where they need to get to. So
No,
it should be
absolutely not.
coming up. It really is. See how they do it in the coming years. Because remember, the scheduling that we see now is a few years old. So the Colorado the game yesterday was probably scheduled when Colorado was god awful bad a few years ago, like 2-3 years ago, and and TCU was on the way up, so TCU scheduled that game, and that's probably why that happened, and because the schedule was like 4 years ahead. So I think if TCU knew that Deion was coming, they wouldn't have scheduled that game. They would not have had that. We're not doing that. So, hey, that's what it is. It's what it is. So.
It definitely is, man. But we're gonna get on out of here. On behalf of myself, I'm Kevin L. Warren, the host and moderator. Mike Mills, the DA. For the other fellows in their absence, Mike Brooks, thank you for checking in this morning, sir. Hey, this is the Sports Chasers podcast. Hey, for Dan and the Angry One also, man. Thank you guys. Hey, this is Sports Chasers podcast, man. Y'all be good, be blessed. Hey, man, we'll see you guys on Thursday. Peace.